All right, everybody. Welcome to the Man We're in Trouble podcast. I am here today with Ed, Mariah, Rafael, and Mary. And of course, my name is Mitch. Thank you all for being here. Today's topic, rejection, and how we could better deal with it, giving your guys' perspectives on getting rejected, rejecting people, so on and so forth. And we're going to see where the conversation leads us. But I know Mary wanted to talk about her personal experience with this one directly
Yeah.
first, and then
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Awesome. Yeah. So I wanted to share this story of a time that I had to personally reject somebody. I've got to say, going into it, it never feels good on our part. Like, we never want to do it, just so you guys know. However, this time was 100% necessary. So I went line dancing at a small country bar with my friend. It was just the two of us, plus all of the ladies that line dance. Now, you have to remember, this is a group of women from about 45 to 85 that we are out with, and we see them all the time. Like, we know them pretty well. It was a Friday night, granted. Anyway, these two guys walk in. I clock them as soon as they do because they're pretty obviously intoxicated. While it was a Friday, it was only about 7 p.m. My friend was dancing because she's better at line dancing than I am. I'm really not that good. So she was over dancing, doing line dancing. I see them at the bar. They're looking over at our table. Well, lo and behold, she comes over. So do they. She goes back out to dance. And the one guy who was more sober was talking to me. I mean, he was talking nonsense, but normal drunk person nonsense. The other guy, that was the issue, wobbling all over, slurring his words, spilling stuff on his shirt. And I said to the one friend that was more sober, "Hey, I think your friend ought to go home." He's like, "No, he's fine. He's just at a 5." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, then that's just a 5. Okay. And so I'm just keeping it calm and neutral because I've been in this situation before. If I escalate one way or another, it can go one or two ways for me. Either they can start yelling in my face, either they can just call me a mean name and walk off, either they can totally back off. That does happen sometimes, but not really that often. Anyway, the really drunk guy looks over at the line dancing ladies who I have previously just described to you guys and is saying the dick to pussy ratio in this bar is off. And, audibly, I can hear him. And then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "No, it's okay." I was like, "Why is that so significant to you? Like, look at your surrounding. Where do you think you are?" And he tells me that men only think about one thing. So when he sees all those women dancing, he's only thinking about one thing because that's all women are. He says this to my face, this stranger that I did not invite over to my table, that I did not know, in a bar full of people that it was very obvious what kind of place you were in. It was a small town country bar.
Whoa.
So I responded because he asked what I thought. And I said, "Well, I think that's actually sad that there's only one thing in your life that makes you happy. And if you don't have that thing, then you're not happy." And that's where this took a left turn. He started drinking the table salt off of the table.
Drinking the table
What?
salt.
Yes, that's what he did. He opened up the table salt, started pouring it into his mouth and drinking it. So I turned to the more sober friend and I said, "Your friend's behavior is disturbing me and I would like you to leave now." I said it just like that. I'm not even kidding.
How's
And they
polite?
did. They left. But nothing prevented them from, like, they could have stayed. Nothing would have stopped them from staying. Nothing would have stopped them from following me after I left. And so that's why when we make that hard line, that line is a safety line on our end because chances are you're not the salt guy, but there's always a salt guy.
There's always that could have gone, I think, a lot more extreme. I thought you were going to continue
I thought you were.
going.
Yeah.
I
It's
think that
funny.
says something about how guys handle rejection. That we all expected it to go in a really
He's
bad
not wrong. That the first thing I thought of was where I thought the story was going was, and then I went to the parking lot and at my car, blah blah blah. So that's where I naturally thought that story was going. Yeah,
No, I don't know you guys well enough for those stories yet.
no, but she's not wrong. That hard line isn't trying to be rude. It's not rude. It's not indifferent. It's safety. It's no gray.
Mary, you said
So,
something. Oh, sorry, Mitch. I didn't mean to cut you off.
but no, go ahead. Go ahead.
You said something at the start, which I thought that was interesting, was you said, we don't like rejecting you. We don't enjoy it. My question is it more like you don't like turning someone down because you don't want to be turned down? Or is it because you don't like it because of what the ramifications of that might be after you reject somebody?
Second.
No, it's because I think they'll feel sad being rejected.
Okay, so it is the first one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want them to be sad.
No, of course, that's what I was hoping it was. But, there's enough bad experiences that someone's like, I just don't like doing it because it's going to
Oh,
turn into
no,
something else.
Yeah.
I'm
I
practical.
want them to infer further that the rejection is deeper than it is. I mean, if your encounter with somebody is less than 5 minutes, the brush off is just as insignificant. It's not, you didn't sit there and pour your heart out to someone for 3 hours and close the bar down. No, it's not personal. It's really not. And it's not because you're not 6 feet tall and have a six-figure salary and have like it's this weird, I've noticed criteria guys think are deal breakers are not. Like, don't be so hard on yourselves.
I think that rings so much more true in real life interactions. I think the guys that we can consider the problem childs here are being skewed by the perception that they have to meet that 6 feet requirement to even get a swipe in a dating app. So they think that that's also how the real world works. When we all know, I mean, I'm not 6 foot tall and I'm not single. The real world is not dating apps. And a lot of them just don't realize that you don't interact with 15,000 women in one day. So they think that because they got swiped left by 15,000 women in a dating app, that's how the real world's going to work for them too.
Also, just assume you're the guy that she was going too fast and goes, damn, I meant to swipe right. Just assume that was you by accident.
So I think a lot of challenges that I think a lot of guys face, and I had this too, I think when I was dating a while back, or like when I first started dating, understanding body language. And I think it's one thing when you're in a bar or a place where there's kind of like expectations of flirtatiousness and like introducing yourselves and whatnot. And then you directly like, hey, I'm not interested, or no, but I think you should leave, like where you were verbally able to do that. I think a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties that guys are having now is when you're not in that situation and it's like day to day, or you meet someone on the street, or it's like at a coffee shop and you're not necessarily expecting of like being forward enough to ask someone out on a date, and understanding body language, and people don't understand, are getting mixed messages. And then guys in their head are like, oh, I've done the work for like 3 months, 4 months to like do something, and then getting rejected that way.
Well, there's also a big split. Okay. There's a split between that in that situation, the male's perception and the female's perception. Because what you're framing in their minds as 3 months of work, in women's brains is 3 months of friendship. Friendship, right? We have 3 months of friendship that we've had, and then it gets propositioned to that. And so that really is telling me that there's not a lot of clear signals when something is romantic versus when it's not. Either they're not being sent clearly or they're not being read clearly. I'm not sure.
Well, I
That's
don't
what-
believe in like the friend zone, for example, because I think what you're saying there is like, I thought we were friends. You didn't make it clear that there was any romantic interest. And I also didn't make it clear, obviously, because you didn't pick up on it for 3 months that we weren't moving in that direction. So it's either like, I don't believe in friend zone because you're either just friends or you're romantically interested in somebody and not
Straight.
telling them.
I had two guy friends as my first roommates in my first apartment who I'd known since sixth grade. I was the girl that had all the guy friends. Nobody ever, even in a catty way, was like, oh, they hook up. It's like brother and sister. And you are either like that, you are either 100% platonic, or there's that uneven, there's that one person that's trying to secretly shoot their shot. There is no friend zone. You're either friends or you're trying or succeeding.
Ed, you were about to say something?
I
Ed?
yeah, I just the biggest issue I see with like the intentions with people meet is that body language can be so different between two individuals. So like one woman's I'm just trying to be nice to you can be another woman's like I'm clearly flirting with you. And the same thing for guys. Like one guy can think like I'm going to do XYZ and these are my moves. And this is me letting you know I'm interested in you. And the next guy will be like, what are you talking about? So now you have to take whatever flavor of flirting perception the woman is, and whatever flavor of flirtatious perception the man has. Now, like, okay, now, well, and now you run into people that have, well, yeah, I hook up on the first date, or no, minimum 3 dates, and you got to take me out to dinner once, or like, no, I don't sleep with girls until, whatever. It requires, I feel like, more communication than a lot of people are doing in real life. And I think that's also what's leading to like not the greatest handling of rejection of people.
People also can't flirt. My boyfriend says flirting with me is like punching water.
What does that mean?
What?
If you do it fast enough, you knock yourself out.
Well, he once said it's like punching a curtain. I'm a very socially awkward person. I'm not very observant, and things just,
He's going to
don't
miss.
touch on to things at all. Apparently at the river today, I thought this guy who was just asking me questions, and John was like, you didn't notice any of that. And I'm just like, no, I was having a nice chat. He's like, that was not a chat. He just sat back and watched because he just thought it was funny how oblivious I was. So some people, it's not personal. Some people are socially awkward until you get to know somebody.
Fair, that man that approached you might not have been flirting, but your partner might feel like that interaction qualifies as flirting for him.
I did. Now he says in hindsight, he did put his hand on my shoulder and my back a couple times. When he pointed, he was like,
Yeah, physical
but
contact
he
is
was
could be a
really
sign.
wrong. He was trying to get my balance, but I was balanced.
If
So
a man I did not
it
know
was a
put
little-
his hand on me anywhere, I would definitely register that.
Yeah. Mariah,
You're
that's
so
on
funny.
you.
Oh my God.
That's on you. 100%. She was flirting. Well, the moment physical touch happens, that's 40.
Here watching, he's like, "This was fun." I felt bad for him. Like, he had no idea what was happening.
But Mitch, that brings you back to what you were saying about body language, being able to read physical touch. That's an obvious indicator of interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way I see it too is that, like, yes, sometimes you do need to pick up on someone's social cues, but I encourage men to make your intentions known as early as possible, because then they're either going to tell you, I'm not interested, or if they stick around and give you any sort of anything, if they don't give you more, if they give you more than one word answers, they might be into it because you've already told them what you're there for. And then you're less looking for cues than either getting a verbal rejection, or if they don't seem interested in you after you've made that kind of direct approach, then you know, okay, well, it's time to move on. But that's a different story on how people handle that.
I'm hoping we eventually get to that. Is like, how do you handle rejection at some point? But I don't know if we're there yet. But go ahead.
I kind of want to add off of that is there. You also cannot deny, because this is true, there are women that will string guys along in the friend zone. That is true. That is 100% a thing. And I think a lot of guys hold out and stay in that loop for much longer than they should, because either A, they don't know they're in it, or B, they think it's better than nothing. And I think that most people deserve better than breadcrumbs.
What
And
is,
the one
go ahead, Mariah.
satisfied with breadcrumbs, though. It's gone. For me, I've done that in hindsight.
You stung guys along.
No. I was strung along, but I was conscious of it the whole time.
It's better than being completely alone. It feels that way at the time.
What does that look
No, you're
like
not
when
wrong.
a guy's being strung along?
Oh my God. It's like you're
Texting
basically the
every day.
boyfriend without any of the privileges. Like you're the boyfriend. You get called when there's the emergencies. You calm them down after emotional outbursts. You're paying for things. You're going on dates that are not actually dates. Like friendship is different because friendship is reciprocal. They don't usually look like that. Yeah, I've got some friends that I lean on during times more than others. Like I've got one friend who I know can handle my emotions, and then one that I'm like, I'm not going to talk to her about my emotions. But it looks like exactly what you're feeling. You're giving way more than you're receiving. And I don't think that putting in that time, effort, and money is the same as getting access to their bodies, but they are being taken advantage of.
So in that
Yes.
scenario, you're basically saying a guy's interested, the girl's aware of that and kind of goes through the motions, but there's
Taking
no
advantage of them.
taking advantage of it. Got it.
And say
She
you're
has a
100%
boyfriend?
true.
Every time she wants to like complain about him, she calls you and tells
We're-
you all about it.
We're that.
And then she's always telling you that she's almost like just tired enough of this shit. And she just wishes she had a guy just like you. But she's so happy that she can share these things with you.
Shit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
having
High school
memories.
knows all about
I was just
this
about
shit.
I have high school memories of this right now that are flooding back.
Literally.
I
I'm
just realized
sorry. I'm sorry to bring them up.
every
They're
guy, the guy I
formative.
went to homecoming and prom with, I just realized I did that to him in high school. Oh my God, I feel like such a jerk. He's married. and
No,
got
it's
kids.
No, it's a
homecoming.
canon
It's so
event.
messed
It's a
up.
canon
It's the
event
same
for
thing.
men.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for bringing up that perspective, though, because I think a lot of guys do feel that way and have expressed a lot of anger and frustration about girls doing that. And you guys bringing it up as kind of validated specific feelings from the guy's perspective. That being said, though, I do think guys also breadcrumb girls
Oh,
100%. And so I think do you think it's the same things that guys
I
would
think it's
do
more
for girls?
prolific
It's
with
just happens
men.
more.
I think men do it
Mm.
easier. I think it's more accepted and almost expected to an extent in dating app
Breadcrumb
culture.
women?
Two breadcrumb women.
There is a specific kind of guy, to simplify it, and they all fall in. Okay, the best way I can describe it is they're the kind of guys that wear their, like, the jacket they wear to the office at the bar, but they put on jeans after work. So they show they have a big boy job, but I'm chill with my dark jeans. They specifically take their slacks off and they go to the bar after work. There is a specific look, at least in Atlanta, in Buckhead specifically, in Brookhaven.
Buckhead. Oh, yeah.
Because I grew up in Atlanta, and I went to Georgia State University. So I was downtown or Beltline or Buckhead for the most part. Buckhead's not the scene so much anymore, but it was in my day. And there's a guy, I can spot him a mile away. And they will have 3 to 4 girls that they're texting. And they all know that they don't know how many girls they're texting, but they know they're texting multiple people. They go out of town almost every weekend. If they are, I don't know. But they always go out of town. But you'll get the text when he's at the gym with a mirror selfie at Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And then after he's done, what are you doing tonight at 9 on a Wednesday? That's how
I'm
it
gonna
goes.
disagree. I'm gonna disagree with the fact that that's more prolific on the guy's side. I will agree that Mr. 1%, I am like the hottest thing since sliced bread, is probably going to be the one guy breadcrumbing the most women. But I think by virtue of how dating dynamics work, where the man typically is the one approaching the woman, I think that leads to women breadcrumbing men more, just by virtue of the fact that we're always making the approach, or most of the time.
Hold on. I think we breadcrumb differently in the sense that I think girls might do it before the actual dating happens. Guys will do it before marriage. Like in the sense of like, I'm going to just continually date you. I'm not going to make a commitment to you. And I think that's the difference where a guy will just string along his girlfriend or his girl toy or whatever that he might think she is to him at the time and string her along like, oh, I'm going to do this or, oh, I'm going to do this. And I think that's how guys would do it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's the perception that I have is like, that's the difference.
So it's like
Yes.
guys get friend zoned and girls get girlfriend zoned because they
Yes.
want the they get breadcrumbed through that process.
Guys
Maybe
want
I'm wrong.
girlfriend treatment with side chick responsibilities.
I think that it both stems from the same point of insecurity, for sure. Unable to make a commitment, unable to identify something that feels good when it's in front of you, and unable to decide that this is the commitment. And choice paralysis, I believe, especially with the dating apps. You know, we're going to talk about, that 1% of the guy. Sure, they've definitely got the most choice paralysis, but I've seen my buddy. He has this one strategy when we go out is he talks to every single girl in the bar because he figures at least one of them is gonna
Good
say
move.
yeah.
So
But, he also has the same philosophy on dating apps. And so he does get matches and he's not the top. He's not a 1% guy, but he does the same thing. He does the exact same thing because he can't decide okay, this is a person I'm going to devote time to even. And that's just one case example, but I think it both comes from insecurity on the girl's part. I'm going to cling to this person that makes me feel good about myself so I don't feel bad. And then from the guy's part, I'm not going to make a decision that's going to make me take a hard look at myself because I don't want to look there.
Yeah, I think it also comes on the other side too. Like when you were talking about insecurity, like I was going back to my high school rap, and like high school rap didn't have enough self-respect to realize he was being breadcrumbed. And I think if someone has enough confidence and self-respect in themselves, they will realize that, hey, if this much time has passed, they're still with their partner, they haven't given me any indication that they're going to move forward besides, false hope. I'm going to say, hey, this isn't working for me. We can either just be friends or, I think that's something that only comes with some sort of self-respect and less insecurity.
And now I'm
100%.
going to give your high school self a little bit of credit because it's almost impossible, especially the first time you see this loop, to recognize yourself in it. Usually you need somebody else to help you with it. Usually when they say that, we get really annoyed with them at first. But it's almost impossible to pull yourself out of that dynamic. So just to give yourself a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Laura anymore.
And also, when it comes to the one,
You, Allison.
I'm not saying I'm the.
Fucking Laura.
Oh man.
It
least you
doesn't
guys
help that we all start dating and discovering this shit when like none of us are emotionally mature and intelligent.
But at least, so I was dumb enough in high school to where this person was giving me no crumbs. And I was still like, hey, you're
Yes.
giving me nothing. And I'm still going to pursue because maybe I'm just not trying hard enough. And I just don't know what words to say. I don't know this. Realizing backwards, I'm like, wow, I just wasted
Bro,
years of
I
my
was-
life. Try.
I was the exact opposite. Like I was like, can't get rejected if I don't talk to nobody, bro. I'm batting 1,000. Like when she shared
Fair.
her friend going to the bar and talking to every woman, that shit gave me so much anxiety because my personal, like if I'm single and I even think about going to a bar, my thing is like, I don't want to approach you because I feel like I'm automatically annoying. So I just like, I'm mentally primed. And it's funny, like,
What would be the
'cause
worst thing if you were annoying? I'm like one of the most annoying
I-
people I know.
I just feel like by virtue of like, hey, you're sitting at the bar minding your own business and here's some dude interrupting you. Like, I don't like going to a bar and minding my own business. And then, I don't know, I'm also not a bar goer. That's the thing. I notice a lot of guys also get taught this shit growing up that I don't take rejection. Like if a girl says no, like just keep pushing. And
Mm.
I dealt with this shit with this kid. I'm 34. And there's this kid at my gym who like typical early 20s. He's just starting to get into fitness. And like, we rarely get girls in their early 20s in the gym, but everyone on the one comes in and he's just like, bro. And I'm like,
Girl.
dude, relax. She's human. Also, let me give you a little piece of advice. Most girls don't want to be bothered at the gym. Just leave her alone. If she says hello, maybe ask her if she's done with the machine. Maybe wave or fucking give her a non-creepy smile when you walk by the water fountain. But just don't, like, this is not the place to do it.
Back.
And he's just like, no, I
Yes.
must go. Like, girl would be like, oh, hey, hi. Yeah, no, thank you. But thanks for asking. Bye. And I'm like, okay, leave her alone. And he's like, nah, man, she really likes me though. Like, I think she's just playing hard. And I'm like, dude, like,
No.
how did you get that?
No.
Like, but guys, I feel like there are a group of guys who were raised by dads that 100% taught them this shit and encouraged it. And I know because I'm Hispanic too, and I had male adults and growing up in my family that totally tried pushing that shit on me. But I was like, she looks annoyed, so I'm going to leave her alone. But thanks, Tio, like, gracias.
Yeah.
Thanks, Uncle. Drunk. I'm not going to do that.
Here's the,
So
I can't speak for all women, but when it comes to the 1% guy, when I was dating intentionally, not just like hooking up with people, I swiped left on the seemingly 1% guy most of the time, or at least I think what guys picture the 1% guy to be. Because the stereotype for me personally is arrogant. And here's the thing, most women don't need a father. They want a partner. I live alone. I'm financially stable on my own. I am not dating for financial security. And my friends range politically within about 8 years of each other, and economically, I mean, talking about $20 an hour versus I don't even want to know, a year. All of us are comfortable enough taking care of ourselves that when we're swiping, we don't care what your job seemingly you claim it is. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at how old do your pictures look? Are you only taking pictures of yourself? Do you have friends in your picture? Like I lost weight at one point and I didn't have a lot of updated pictures. So I put, yeah, you can add me on Snapchat because I'm not good at selfies. I feel awkward about them. So I don't really have them. But I also added guys on Snapchat before I went on a date to make sure I wasn't being catfished. It's an easy way for safety to find, because it's very hard to fake in real time who you are. And also you get to see the person. But if you don't have pictures, don't upload old ones that don't look like you. Just say, add me on Snapchat. You still have updated pictures. It's not weird. But when it comes to approaching women, I can't speak for all women, but there's something hot about being intentional. Please don't, we don't need to do the dance. If you're trying, shoot your shot and don't actually worry about her body language, worry about her words. Body language varies. You can misread body language, but if she says not interested, it's not, oh, I'm going to try hard. No, we mean what we say.
I'm a fan of just don't shit where you eat. Leave the gym, work. Don't ask anyone out on a date where you go on a daily basis, because if you do get rejected, then it will be awkward every other day after that, knowing that you were rejected.
I want to push back on that just a little bit. One, met my wife at work. Two, I asked out a lot of girls at that job too.
Did you tell HR?
No, absolutely not. I also did ask out a bunch of girls at work and got rejected. But I think the reason it worked for the girls that rejected me at work was because I'm going to go on a couple points. One, Ed, when you were talking about approaching a woman, you don't want to annoy her. I tell men that when you're approaching someone, you have to understand their situation. Are they with friends? Do they have a partner with them? Or do they have headphones in? Like all these things factor in. So yes, if you're aware that you might be annoying them, I think if that factors into your approach, it can help. For example, I do a lot of street interviews. And I know a lot of people think I have some big camera behind me or whatever, but no, I'm approaching girls cold on the street. Hey, do you have a second? And they're often with headphones in, and I'm like, she's going to pull her headphone out, ask me to repeat myself, and she's going to hate me. Most of the time they're like, okay, I'll do it. And they just do. And it's like, okay, it's not so bad. Of course I didn't ask her on a date, but I think it's a similar idea of approaching somebody in a situation, having respect for that situation. And then if you get rejected, being like, no problem whatsoever, have a good day. And
Yep.
I'm telling you, not only will that make the rejection nicer for you, even like you're just like, okay, that's not a big deal. Like, whatever, it's not a big deal. Have a good day. It often works in your favor, because I've heard several women have said that if you take rejection like that, it shows, one, you have a lot of self-respect. Two, you're confident. Three, you're respectful. And it says a lot about you right off the bat. So handling rejection like a champ is like one of the best possible things you can do as a man.
100%.
that is true. It works.
Yeah, you're changing the culture. She's going to walk away from me like, not all guys are
Right.
creepy.
Right.
And then you might have
One
the few,
approach
then
at a
you're like,
time.
oh, he rejected me. Hold on a second. Let me do a double take and go back
Exactly.
to that, because he rejected me. And now I can't do it. Let's say that happens all the time. Don't
There's
just say,
Sometimes
not
you
being
doing the
desperate.
rejection
Not being desperate
short-circuits.
time.
But
it worked for Ed. I know firsthand it worked for Ed.
I also think it's worth saying that like rejection is not a personal fault of any individual ever. Before I met my husband, I was on this really long like track record of just like falling in love with some guy and like following him around, doing everything I could to be in his presence, and then him just totally being like, no, I don't want you, whatever, and it would destroy me all the time. But like also, I was putting too much of myself out there each time I did that. There was no reason for me to have to go through that kind of turmoil when I was not getting any sort of return. So that being said, why are you putting that much of yourself out there when you're just trying to get a conversation from somebody? You don't have to. And also, just to give some clear body language across the room signals that women are looking to speak to people at bars in social situations, they will be looking up. They will be looking around. If it looks like they're just looking around, they're looking for somebody to come over to their table. If there's only two of them, they're looking for somebody to come over to their table. If there's three of them, they're probably looking for somebody to come over to their table, but pay attention to if there's a sash or if somebody seems to be the center.
Solid advice.
Yes. And if they're dancing, get up and dance with them.
Don't be afraid to dance.
Dance.
But don't
I
be
actually
learn
tell-
how to alpha. Learn
Don't
how to
push them. Just dance
be
with
fun,
them.
be silly, be
Mhm.
self-deprecating in a way.
go take a salsa class. Go learn the new what's it called? The modern swing. Like learn that ballroom style dancing, and oh my gosh, like it would just
No,
it's just
for real.
So
Body language, she'll face you. If she's like closed off to you, and I'm not a body language expert, but I'm almost positive it's like a subconscious thing that you have. It's often you can see where someone's feet are pointed. Like if they're facing you versus the guy who's from the CIA who goes on this podcast, he was explaining basic body language. He was like, when someone is invested in what they're talking about, they will face you. If their shoulder is to you, if they're giving you the shoulder, literally and figuratively, like that I know is the basic one that no one even realizes they're doing.
I think that like such a huge takeaway from what Mary just said was like, and tying it back to Rafael speaking about you not having that sense of confidence and security early on when you're taking a rejection is what, like when you're getting breadcrumbed and you have that self-agency to like walk away. That's also like when that switch flips, when you start realizing that, hey, rejection isn't because I am fucked up. We just weren't meant to be. Like once, like there's a switch that flips when you hit that level of self-confidence and just self-assurance, I guess, in a way. That I feel like that's when you start taking rejection well. And it almost seems like it's so bad for so many guys because a lot of guys get brought up being told that your sense of self-worth comes from your ability to attract women.
yeah, going up and
So-
approaching is tough, and taking rejection is tough. Like it starts with confidence.
Yeah. But being rejected does not mean you are being disrespected either automatically. And I think a lot of guys think that they're, oh, she rejected me, I'm disrespected. They are destroying my honor, and I can't be dishonorable in that type of thing. And that's what a lot of guys are like thinking. And that's not the case. Being rejected doesn't automatically mean
Problem is when you grow up in like a really either conservative or it's like old school or very misogynistic upbringing, that's how their worldview is like created. Like that's the problem. Like
if you're listening to this, guys, because someone rejects you does not mean you are automatically like disrespected. Like,
yeah,
hands down, like period, end of story. Like, don't think that is an automatic disrespect, being disrespected, dishonorable situation. It is not. All right.
A million
There's more
reasons a
honorable-
woman will reject you. There's a million.
They don't
Yeah.
know you enough to disrespect you. You can't be disrespecting. They don't know you. It's not personal. It's really not.
It is more honorable to brush it off, drive on, move on to the next, and don't dwell on it. Like, it is more honorable and respectful to be able to do something like that. And it says more about your mental health, your emotional maturity, than if you were to sulk, if you were to like bash a wall, if you were to scream or drink salt.
well, and that's the
Fucking
thing.
salt.
Like if we we don't have the circuitry to understand the mindset of salt drinker. So
It's true. This is
how-
true.
So and like how do you reach that dude? Like how do you actually and
I'm going to go ahead and answer that right now. You do not reach that dude.
He's
Who you
helpless.
reach is his friend that was with him, that brought him to that bar, who saw him that drunk and let him stay there anyway. That's who you reach. You don't reach the salt drinker. There has to be, I
They're
call it
gone.
willingness. There needs to be willingness. Without willingness, there's no chance.
yeah,
You're right.
Also,
I
this is
see.
advice that I don't think is gender specific. This is something I personally experienced, just not as a woman, just as a human. I got to a point when, in more or less terms, I got to fuck it. I stopped. Like, I started saying I am very socially awkward at first. My personality, 3 dates into knowing me, is not the same as first. All my insecurities on first dates, I just put it out there. And if they can't handle, like, what's gonna happen, not gonna go well. I'm not, this isn't a surprise. I'm just saying, like I told you, my boyfriend says, like, flirting with me is like punching a curtain. I suck. And once I got to the point of not being insecure anymore, not taking things personally, just doing it enough and it failing enough to kind of like having an emotional callus to it. Like when you walk around barefoot enough, it stops hurting. Legos don't hurt as bad when you have a callus. And then once you get to this fuck it mode, at least for me personally, I found the guy of my dreams because I didn't even want to go on a date. I was having a good hair day. That's it. And I almost deleted Bumble, but I bought the boosters. So if you swipe too fast, you can go back. And it was expiring in 2 weeks. So I was like, you know what? I already paid for this. I'm going to keep it. And in 2 weeks, I'll just delete it. I'm done. And then within that 2 weeks, I met my boyfriend. And our first date went from me not wanting to go, but didn't want to waste a good hair day, to we shut down the restaurant, sat on a bench till 2:30 in the morning, only stopped because we were like, what time is it? And we're like, oh, it's the next day. We've been with each other 3 to 4 days a week ever since. I can be with him. I could stay at his place 2 nights in a row. And then the next day, talk to him 4 times on the phone, over 30 minutes at least twice. And we talk about everything under the sun. I can't even tell you what we talk about. He's my best friend.
Oof, that's a lot of talking.
That's a lot.
Oh, no.
I've been with my husband for 10 years. That's a lot of talking.
No, he's pettier than me and smarter than me. Like, we were watching Outlander, and he pauses it. It goes on this whole almost 15-minute
Love the
thing
show.
about the Highlands and the Scots. Then calls me the next day to correct it by 75 years and went on and opined on that. I
my
learned
gosh.
so much every day. Our conversation never changes, but I almost deleted Bumble and I almost didn't go on the date. It's a numbers game, and you just have to stop trying and caring. Once you get to I don't care one way or the other. I'm just going out to get out of the house. Once you get to that, it gets so much easier.
yeah,
And
I think
No, go,
you
sorry.
fall for people that way. No, that's it.
Yeah, I think being direct and being vulnerable are my ways of being like saying fuck it, because if I'm direct, I'm either going to get what I want quickly or not. And either way, I'm fine with it. Being vulnerable, going up and approaching a woman is being vulnerable. You're basically like in nature, you're exposing your belly a little bit, like you're risking something. And I think the more you do that, the less scary it becomes. And then you
it
build up.
stops being the fear of the unknown.
Exactly. And the quicker you do it, I have a phrase where it's like, honesty is the quickest way everybody gets what they want. Because if I tell this woman I'm interested in her and she quickly tells me she's not, then I know this isn't going to work and I can move on. She can move on and we both go about our day. So being honest is like, it's going to get you what you want quicker. And it's also going to get you what you want on a deeper level.
Also, when
And
you're
I think so. There's a way to be honest without being a jerk, but that's
100%.
for a different episode.
100%. 100%.
I want to ask Mitch and Rafael if you've ever rejected somebody and received the negative and had a bad experience where she took the rejection poorly.
Think so. I don't think that's ever happened. Nothing
Because I have one.
Whoa.
Oh,
I'll think through the history of my life, and you say first, and then I'll come back to me.
So this was my first dabbling in the Rafael approach of like just be honest and straightforward from day one. We met and her idea was to hook up and just keep it strictly physical. And she was very adamant about no emotional connection. And I said, got it, done. Usually I'm the sucker that falls. This time she must have really drove the point forward because I did not. Because I always reminded myself, like, this is not anything more than physical. I believed her, and I had been bitten by past experiences. So I'm like, okay, I think I learned my lesson. Well, one day, frustrated, she shared with me that she was mad that things weren't progressing. And I was like, okay, I don't understand. And I was like, where are they supposed to progress? Because I thought they were supposed to stay here. And she told me that, hey, well, I developed feelings. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I like you, but I didn't allow myself to develop those feelings back. So I can't say that I reciprocate. So if I think it's probably best that we stop so it doesn't get messy, just leave this where it is. And one of our guy friends comes over and they start talking. I think she starts getting a little frustrated and he asks me to go outside. It's like, can you go outside real quick? I'm just gonna like chat with her real quick. And the walls are paper thin. And as soon as I walk outside, I just hear her scream, "Men don't turn me down. I turn men down." And I said, hold on. Oh, I got my car keys in my pocket. Okay, bye-bye. Let's go. And
She's so
yes, so we both were.
no
And
way.
that kind of
It's
reminds me
crazy.
of a handful of times when we're younger in like middle school, high school, or even college, where like you try to approach a girl and like, okay, I think I'm not being creepy. Like, hey, nice to meet you. And sometimes like the group of girls ridicules you, or girl, hey, my friend, she's interested in you. She thinks you're handsome. It's like, oh, well, thanks. Like, she seems nice, but I'm not interested. Thank you. And now you're the asshole because how dare you turn down my friend? Like, she's the most beautiful fucking thing in the planet. And now she's in here. And it's like,
Ed, how did it
we,
feel to be the most emotionally mature out of the two of you guys that day?
I felt a little bit
Over
proud of myself,
this
but at the same time, it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, and it's like exactly what you said at the beginning. It's like, it doesn't feel good to turn somebody down.
Yeah.
And that's another moment when like the switch flips from like, when we're getting rejected, that person's not doing it for fun. Like, are there psychopaths out there that love making people feel like shit? Yes, cool. Disclaimer, but most people don't.
How
Most
old
people
were you
are
when this
trying to.
happened?
I was 6.
How old was she?
I want to say 23 or 24.
Too old for that shit.
Yeah.
I also wonder
Wow,
how much
that's
of that is
stupid
like
for Cocoa Puffs.
women. I'm sure you guys get rejected, like it happens, but I don't know if it happens at the scale that men get rejected. So I think maybe when it does happen to someone who's not used to it, it might come out like that. Like, this never has happened to me. The first girl I ever asked out in preschool told me no. So like I got rejected out the gate, and it's just been nonstop ever since. But
Listen, I don't get rejected because I don't approach women and I'm terrified of them.
Mitch, I
Like,
don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole, but
oh,
the concept of one night stands aren't rejection.
They can be.
Friends, when they feel like they've been the breadcrumb situations normally after they've slept together. And if it seems to just from objectively, when I get the story told to me, I'm like, that just sounds like a one night stand. They've taken that really personally. I'm like, not personal. Like, not always.
see,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's breadcrumbing. It sounds like he actually got a little bread. He got a.
yeah.
Sounds like he had a. I don't know, a
But
baguette.
this happened to a couple people, not the same person over and over, but I've heard this story You talk, you Snapchat back and forth for a couple weeks. You go out, you have a great time, you hook
Okay.
up. That's it. That's not necessarily rejection.
Unless the framing of the arrangement was
go either
clear
way.
ahead of time, I can see where there would be a lot of confusion personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I don't know if you want to go down that, but that is a complicated
This
way.
this kind of leans into what or Ed's original question of have I ever rejected, and so on. So I think I'm going to see if I can weave this into it because I think it meets the end objective with what you're trying to get after, Mariah. So like first rejection. Okay, well, let me preface this with this is a story of my emotional maturity growth in relationships. So I acknowledge my toxicity in the initial portion of this story because I have
Okay.
learned
You're
since
so
then.
mindful.
All good.
Okay, so high school, yes, I rejected my first girlfriend after like a week. I felt terrible. Okay, I realized like, I don't want to have to deal with that relationship and hearing her talk for a long period of time. So I was like, nope, I made up a BS excuse to break up. Okay. I acknowledge this and I'm like, you know what? It was probably for the best that I then did not have another girlfriend for I think a few years. And to which then I'm like, I don't ever want to break a girl's heart again in that sense. So I started like after I realized it wasn't going anywhere, I started to turn into kind of like the unhealthy partner. And I started doing things to get her to break up with me. And I think that's
Yeah.
Guy.
a lot of guys will do that because they don't want to hurt the girl's feelings. Because if I'm the bad guy, then I don't feel as bad. I understand that is bad. That is a bad thing to do. And I understand that. And I acknowledge that now. At the time, I thought I was doing a service and I realized that was selfish. Okay. I understand this. All right.
I will say I have heard of a few female friends of mine doing similar things. And I just think like, I wonder if that's part of that learning process of like, ooh, rejection feels bad. Little learning occurred. Therefore, I'm just gonna be a toxic fucking like partner. Like you learned a lesson, but you applied the completely wrong. Like,
But I think that goes into the one night stand rejection piece of like a girl would they want to reject the guy, but they don't want to feel bad doing it without giving them a little bit something. So I think it is possible that some girls will have the one night stand and reject them. But hey, I don't feel as bad by rejecting them because I gave them a little something. So I think that happened. And so I think it's a toxic way of reducing from
Mitch,
both
you
I
see
don't
a
know.
therapist.
I'm not 100% sold on this just because I'm having a hard time believing that women would be just giving pity sex for the sake of being like done with
just
it.
want to get killed. So they give them something so they don't die.
Dude, I'll out myself. I
That's
don't care. I've done it.
how common is this?
Pretty common.
Like,
I don't
you
know.
just give them a
I-
little bit.
Well,
I
I
don't-
mean, it's definitely
I don't
more
know.
common in younger groups, that's for sure. Like you're
Then
going to
at
see college
30s?
students doing this.
No,
Holy
in
shit! Like this
20s,
is
no.
this is
Early-
mind blow shit for me right now because I've never even fathomed the idea.
Girls,
And it's also
well,
100%. It's a way to rectify the guilt that girls feel. Like sometimes, oh my God, I've been breadcrumbing this guy, or even I'm friends with this guy and I know he wants more and I'm not going to give it to him, but I can do this and he'll still be my friend. So it's like it's kind of like being like, I'm going to pay this fee in order to still have the friend in my life. And that does happen and it can happen. I'm sure
Okay.
that you could ask lots of girls for a similar story and they would be able to tell you one.
Also, a lot of
For
Netflix
context, this is specifically for guys that are being breadcrumbed.
I had a Netflix and chill night. Like we went out to dinner. I love stand up. And I'm also like, if I've talked to a guy long enough, Snapchat him long enough, gone out, like I could be like, oh, let's watch this new stand up. And it's not because I'm going in because I'm trying to hook up. Like I'm down to watch this thing that we both seem to be into. We watched the previews together. Let's go in and watch it. It's still 9:00. That has turned into a guilt hookup only because he did nothing wrong. I was there. I saw what the situation was.
You felt that there was tension building, and you're basically letting open a relief valve.
Basically,
Let me
and he
give you
did
some
nothing wrong. Good
context.
decision. But in
Let me
hindsight,
give you
that's
some
what happened.
context. I didn't date in high school. I had one long-term relationship in college, and I've been on one Bumble date, and she's been my girlfriend for the past 7 years.
Who
So
are you?
I'm the guy sitting in the corner that doesn't talk to girls because I'm fucking terrified of them.
Sitcom.
Yeah. But okay, he is hiding away a situation that occurred sophomore year of college where he took the girl that I was trying to get for, and he didn't do shit.
No.
He was just like,
I
I'm
didn't do
gonna be
shit.
shadow daddy in the back corner and do nothing. And he's over here like, sup. And then come to find out later on, she's the girl that I was trying to go after, hooked up with this guy, and I'm over here like, bro. He's like, bro, I didn't do anything. She just came over on me, and I'm like,
At least
That's
we
too
didn't
evident.
hook up.
don't think he's
Perfect
perfect.
example of it's not personal.
Some
Don't
people
think
just know
he's
how to say
perfect.
stuff better than others. I mean, it is what it is.
He is funnier than me. I'll admit, he
I-
is funnier than me.
Humor goes a long way.
I'm going to just speak for the average person, not all women. And I know some women are very opposite to this, but don't assume just because it's a woman, she doesn't just want to hook up just as much as a guy just wants to hook up sometimes.
Sure.
I mean, it's just like we're supposed to always be dating intentionally and play by these specific rules that we've been taught our whole lives that there's a rhythm in dating and certain things you
Well,
do.
and
And
that's
like
another
that.
thing
And
that
sometimes
gets.
you just go out to go out. Just
That's
like
another
a
thing
guy.
that gets perpetuated as we grow up. At no point are men really taught that something as basic as like, hey, a woman also has sexual desires just as much as you can. And
And
like,
that confuses me then.
it
If
Kyle?
that's the case, no, that confuses me then. If that's the case, if you guys grow up thinking that women are not as interested in sex as you are, then why do you guys want us to do it with you if you don't think we want to?
We're gonna try.
Unless it's just
Like,
back down
that's
like
what
a
baffles me.
Yes. It is
congratulations,
It
you
is
figured it out.
It is 100% hypocritical. Hold on. I didn't think that. I just want to make the prep. I think a lot of guys, more
Right.
conservative
And I
guys,
know we're
do think
making a
that.
lot of generalizing statements for the sake of the argument. I understand that.
I
Yeah.
don't know if people think it, but that is the narrative that I've heard.
It is.
Over
It
and
is.
over.
I feel like that's
360
definitely
recently.
perpetuated more in like the more traditional.
Virtue. I hear virtue a lot.
Oh, well,
That's
then if we're thinking
buzzword.
that way, then that does put it all together. Men are the ones that are supposed to be the ones that are corrupted, and women are supposed to be the ones that are pure. So in that context, it does make sense. Purity culture. Of course,
Right,
it always
that,
goes back to
yeah.
purity culture.
Yeah.
And it's different now than it was when we were in our 20s. It just is. I mean, I see it.
Do think more men are probably more willing to have a one night stand than women. That might be a generalized statement, but my personal, maybe it's because only a certain amount of women said yes to a one night stand. But I do think that like there's just probably a lot more risk for a woman to do that than there is a guy, and that alone I think would
That is
make them
true.
less likely. That like just the risk factor alone might be enough to disqualify a lot of women from doing it.
Absolutely. They are the ones that have the risk to get pregnant. And
Right.
especially in today's political situation
worse.
right now, and they don't have the ability to get even minimum over the counter pill. But yes,
In a
100%
perfect
they have
world,
more risk.
However, Obamacare is still the law of the land, and things that are preventative are covered. If you don't know that, your birth control can be covered. Go to the doctor.
I think in a
I
perfect
think-
world, no STDs, girls that get pregnant if they want. I was saying that in a perfect world, girls can decide if they want to get pregnant, like when they have sex, they can say like, I don't want to be pregnant. This is just fun sex. So they don't get pregnant. There's no STDs and there's no risk of like a man hurting them. Then I do think the rate of one night stands goes up kind of equally, I would say.
I agree. And women carry a lot more negative stigma from one night stands than dudes do.
That too.
And also
Still.
on the physiological level too, women tend to contract more STIs more frequently than men do. While
It's a
men tend to
biological-
carry them at the same rate, women tend to present more often.
Exactly.
It's just the way the anatomy works.
It's just the way the anatomy works. Exactly.
So guys, bottom line, based on that conversation I just heard about, if you want to have more one night stands, is to allow more contraceptives availability and better healthcare, and then you'd be able to do this. Okay. Did I finish my original thought? And Mariah, did I answer your question?
I'm
Yeah.
so ADD. I don't remember what it was, but I'm loving this.
Oh, it was the
We stopped at the
So I am going to have to go though,
Yeah,
because
I'm similar boat.
it's 11:30 right now. My phone is at
Oh.
5%.
okay. All right.
It was
I
awesome.
no,
do
I
wanna
think we
say
had a
one
great
thing.
conversation. Go ahead, Rafael.
I'm going to give
Go
you
ahead.
guys a sneak preview. No one else has seen this as a test copy, but I am publishing this very soon called the Attraction Handbook.
The Attraction
that's
Handbook.
cool.
It's probably reversed for you, isn't it? But it'll be,
That's right.
but yeah, it's a lot of what we talked about, including handling rejection and getting the confidence and self-respect to not care how it goes.
That's fantastic.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited
awesome.
to see it
I'm
and
excited.
read it, and I'm excited. So
I'll start promoting it soon. I haven't said anything even to my audience, so only you guys have seen this. But
You got to
yeah,
pay your mortgage, bro. Keep promoting that.
real quick, hey, Rafael, thanks again for that cool promotion. Definitely excited to read it. To everyone else, thank you guys for being here. I think we had some great conversations, but I feel like we just
Yeah.
scratched the surface of this whole rejection piece. And I feel like we could expand more on like how to deal with rejection next time more. So, because I think that is an important skill that we definitely don't talk about enough. And there are a whole bunch of different situations that I think we can discuss and case studies of like, all right, dealing with rejection and what you can do here, here, and here. But
Can
I think what we did talk about was fantastic. Yes.
Can I
More-
put one button on it?
Yep.
When you're approaching someone and you're afraid of being rejected, just ask yourself, what is the worst possible thing that could happen if I approach this woman? And if it's, I'm embarrassed. Okay. Will that kill you? No.
Explodes and I'm crying
In
now.
a month. If
That would
it's
suck.
like,
That
if
would.
it's going to matter in a month, stress about it. If it doesn't
Yeah.
matter after, just
Don't stress
what's
about
the
it.
worst thing that can happen? Is
I'm
not
going to
bad.
think about it a month from now. So I'm already stressing about it.
well, what's sad
Guys,
too
you
is
can never be
Alright.
rejected if you don't approach anybody.
don't listen to
Think
Ed.
about
Don't
that.
listen to Ed. But I
Don't
will
listen to Ed.
say that a lot of the guys on my page, I tell guys, one, to get off dating apps because I think they're a losing game. Go meet women in
Thank
person.
Yes,
It's
100%.
it's way more
Join a
important,
kickball
impactful.
league.
That's all in the book for sure. But then also, like on top of that, a lot of the guys say the worst thing that can happen is they'll catch a case. Like they think they're gonna get like embarrassed on the internet or like reported for harassment. They're actually legit
Really?
scared of this. Supposedly, it's
We
a
need to
world
talk
I
about
don't
that.
understand. Yeah, it's a world I
Yeah.
don't understand.
We
I
need
think
to talk about
now,
that. Right.
I think back then when I was asking girls out in the club, they didn't have a cell phone that could upload it to TikTok. You know, now maybe it's a little different, but I still don't
Hey,
worry about it.
guys, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it too, you know?
That is in life
But
the most true thing.
But before Mary goes away, thanks again for coming. Really appreciated your insight and input.
Nice to meet you.
Next time too.
Nice to
Yeah,
meet you,
y'all have a
Mary.
great night.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, Mary. Okay. Hey man, thanks again for being here. Always love you having
Yeah, man.
Always.
having you
It's
on.
always a
And I love
pleasure.
your insight. And I'm hoping that we can do this again soon.
Let me know.
Yeah. If you guys did make it this far, appreciate y'all supporting the channel and the podcast. And we look forward to hearing your guys' questions, comments, concerns. Like and subscribe. And see y'all next time. Bye.